All right, everyone. Welcome everyone. Um, yeah, okay. So today I'm it's gonna be a relaxed webinar where we're just gonna take a look at Bitcoin and take a look at the altcoin market. So basically, give you guys an update on what I'm watching in the crypto market, what my next moves are for Bitcoin, and I'm then gonna look at what's up, Tronald Dump, my biggest fan. Love you, man. Anyway, let's see if we can find any good setups in the crypto market. So I'm thinking about 30 minutes, 20 minutes of analysis, and 10 to 5 minutes of uh, answering you guys' questions. So let's run the intro, and right afterwards, we'll take a look at the Bitcoin chart. By the way, guys, is that intro loud? It seems like really, really loud. So let me know if it's too loud. I gotta fix that. Anyway, so the title of the live today is yeah, what's the title? The title is the two most important levels for Bitcoin, and basically there's two levels that I'm watching mainly here for Bitcoin, and it's the 45k area and it's the 48k. All right, it's loud. Yeah, I'm gonna talk to whoever's whoever job that is to figure that out. So 48k, right? I have my two blue boxes right here. You see the white dotted lines right here, the previous range, right? So the previous range that we were trading on very visible on the 4 hour, right? So we looked at. Remember when we did the analysis a couple of days ago, right? We had that's actually right. I really got to work on this, right? I make a clickbait title, and then I reveal the information in the first minutes. Nah, gotta work on that. I'm not good with this clickbaity YouTube stuff, where you just post a thumbnail with weird face and you're screaming all the time. It seems to work because those channels are like super big, so it seems to be working. But I feel like that's just not me. It's just not me. The thing though, like the thing is, you need to have a title that kind of screams to get viewers on YouTube, so that the algorithm will actually recommend your content. It's just the way the YouTube algo works. Is you have to have shocking titles. And for me, personally, I don't like that stuff. But you got like you got to work with whatever you got in front of you. And right now we're working with YouTube, right? So that's just how it is. The important thing here though is the content that we're giving you guys is the real deal. I mean, we're professional traders in the business, right? So what we do is I basically give you the stuff that I look at every day when I'm trading, right? So if I'm saying that, I think this setup looks good, well, it's most likely the fact that if this setup activates, I'm going to risk my own money on that setup and I'm going to lose my own money. There's a bunch of big YouTubers out there who will tell you that this product looks pretty good. Like, honestly, they don't know a shit about that product. They're not going to invest in that product. They're just creating hype. Well, I'm not like that. I can 100% guarantee you guys that what I'm giving you guys here is the real deal. I'm basically giving you guys the same setups that I'm about to trade. Basically, my analysis that I do on a daily basis as a professional trader, right? By the way, guys, like the video, hit that subscribe button. Bitcoin, right? So we broke about this range. Like, I want to show you something that I looked at prior to the breakout. I didn't take this trade. Because I'm stupid. But let me give you the reasoning behind not taking the trade, and maybe can use that as a learning experience, right? So there's one thing I really like about how, what, let's move to let's remove this level for a second, and to make it a little bit more easier to see the idea that I was looking at, right? Did you rearrange your room? No, my son did. All right. So it's a total mess. Takes him about 20 seconds to completely rearrange the whole room. So yeah, it's just stuff all over the place. I'm going completely mad. But this is the life of having kids and working from home. It is what it is. Anyway, so we watch this range right here, right? So we have we got the range EQ area right here, right? And then we have the range high area right here and range low, right? And by the way, I guess for anyone wondering, the levels that I got on here, I'm just using the fib tool to draw out the range. I'm using the 0, the 1, and the 50% fib level to draw the range. This is just basically the 1% level and the 0% level and the 50% level, right? Anyway, we had a range going right here, and you can, like, if I remove the moving averages right here, you will see that this was not really a change in behavior, right? This reclaim was not really a change in behavior because we already had a reclaim of range EQ right here, right? So if you want to trade this, just using price action, use clean price action and a clean range, you would have probably wanted to go long on that reclaim of range EQ, maybe looking at 1 hour or something like that, because obviously the 4 hour entering here on that 4 hour candle close would be just too bad of a risk to reward. But maybe on the 1 hour and 50 minute, you could have gotten a nice entry here. However, if you add the 4 hour, 20 and 50 EMA, you're going to see that it's actually the 4 hour 50 EMA is actually being used as resistance right here, right? Now the difference between this reclaim and that reclaim is the fact that we reclaimed both the 4 hour moving averages right here. So we reclaimed the 50 EMA on that reclaim. So that is, according, just looking at price action, it's not a change in behavior. But if you add then the 4 hour moving averages that I always have on the chart in my trading, you see that it's a pretty clear change in behavior on that reclaim, right? So that led me to think that maybe it's not a bad idea to actually go long on that reclaim and take some profits at the range high. Now let's look at what the risk to reward would be on a trade like that. I would probably in this case use a 4 hour. You can't see, all right, so you can't see the screen. Oh man, you can't do that. All right, so let's what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change the screen sharing options so that I'm actually sharing my screen and not only my browser. So by doing that, I should be able to you should be able to see the actual screen. All right, so let's try this. See if this works. Yeah, all right, that works. Perfect, beautiful. Right, so we have right here, we have the reclaim that I'm talking about right here. So this is the reclaim that I'm talking about, right? And the change in behavior was basically this, right? The 50 EMA and the 4 hour was used as resistance, but here it got reclaimed as support, right? Quite easy, right? Now let's look at the entry triggers here. Would probably be that 4 hour candle, right? So we'll look at that 4 hour candle. That would be the entry trigger based on candlesticks on the 4 hour. It's a nice, it's the second bullish candle. It's closing well above that one and the previous red one. It just looks like there's a lot of strength here. However, looking at the stochastics, it's way in the overbought territory. So what I would like to see, looking at the 1 hour, I would like to see this setup forming on the 1 hour as well. But in this case, I would like to see the stochastics in the oversold territory on the bull cross when I wanted to enter, right? So on the 1 hour, the 4-hour candle closed in this region right here, and we did have a 1-hour bull cross right here. So I do think that on the 1 hour, a good way to trade this would be like this, right? So here's a very clear level, right? So you can see here that it's a very clear level, resistance here, got resistance here, right? So it's a pretty clear level. So what we want to do here is we want to wait for price to get above and then potentially leave some buy orders on that level or right above. Take profit would be here, and stop loss should be below the swing low, right? Which is that one. Very risky trade, but the risk to reward is definitely there. This was the trade that I posted on Twitter. I said, I'm not going to take this trade because of the fact that I want to take trades that are like above 2R, maybe 3R or even 4R, stuff like that, so that I can take multiple TPs on the way up in case a new trend emerges, right? Now, what I didn't think about in this case was, what if we're going to break above range highs, right? So what if we're just going to enter this one and take partial profits at range high and then leave 50 or 25% of the position open for a move higher? Well, I didn't really think about that, because honestly, I was pretty much biased to the downside. I was definitely more bearishly biased here. So that is something that I've added in my journal, and I keep reminding myself of the importance, the importance not to have a bias. You shouldn't be bullishly biased or bearishly biased. As soon as price gives you something interesting to trade off, you take that trade, right? No matter if you feel bullish or feel bearish, you know that statistically this would work out, and leaving a moon bag is going to be a very good idea if it breaks out. Now, if it doesn't break out and you get rejected at range high and stop moving lower, well, at least you've taken some profits, but you left a moon bag to potentially have a big win. And that's what trading is all about, right? We have to have potentially big winners in our strategy, right? That's like the big winners are going to make up for the losers, right? So the entry would be here, right? So you wait for price to get above. Let's see if we get something here. So that's the 1 hour candle, right? And let's just, when we have that 1 hour close, let's just add a long position, some entries, some orders right there, stops below that one. And you see to the range high, probably take profit here. That would be 2R. So statistically, I'm okay with a 2R trade. So I could have just taken full profit here, and that would be a good trade, right? But the idea here is you want to take partial profit at TP1, which would in this case be probably 25% here. So at 1.79, I would take 25% profit and move stops to entry. And then at the next resistance above, which would be up in this area, you would exit fully, most likely, in case you get a proper breakout, right? So the you take profit for 75% up here. So it's a 100%, with an average R of around 3.4, right? Which is definitely very nice. Now, this played out just perfectly. But the reason I didn't take this trade was because I was focused on range high being the only resistance, and price is not going to get above that. I was almost certain the price was not going to get above that. But the thing is, looking at the major change in behavior here, if you look at our price, very nicely created a higher low on the 1 hour on the range EQ, the 4 hour 50 and 20 EMA. It just looks almost perfect. And that change in behavior of the trend is something very important to take note of. So that's what I'm showing you. That's why I'm showing you guys this. You always need to focus on market structure and look at the trend. But it's something else that is very important is to not only identify what the trend and what the market structure is, it's also very important to identify the behavior of that market structure and that trend. And right now, the behavior of this trend was quite obviously the fact that the 4-hour moving averages dictated the downtrend here quite nicely, but we then changed that behavior on a reclaim of a significant level, which leads me to believe that there's definitely some potential trade, some potential opportunity going on here. So what happened here was, right, so let's see. Let's remove these drawings. So we came down and we tested that level once again, and that is, I think that's when we started moving higher. So we took out range high almost immediately, and then that last TP based on the conservative target right here, and this is where we are right now. So that's the trade I was looking to take but never took. So it's it's I've been looking over this today and adding in my journal what to do the next time I see this, and basically what I'm looking at is just the change in behavior, and make sure that the next time I see a range like that and I see that situation, that's when I'm just going to take that trade. Anyway, let's see the current price action and the current moves for Bitcoin. So my next move, right? What is the plan for next week, basically, right? Two levels. We got 45K right down here, and we now have the 4-hour moving averages positioning very, very nicely right here with the 4-hour and also the daily, right? So look at this. We have the 4-hour 20 EMA right here, the 4-hour 50 EMA right here, and also we have the the daily 50 and 20 right here at the breakout area. So there's a high confluence and a high probability area down at the breakout area where we have 45K. It's a very high probability that if price comes down and tests this level, a bounce is a very high probability, right? So if you're looking for the perfect area to buy back on this pump, it's going to be the 45K area. The problem, however, is the fact that Bitcoin tends to either overshoot the targets or front run the best possible entry areas, right? So what you should be focused on in a situation like this is just something like this: a retrace, either a retrace down and a higher low on the 4-hour, either here, 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 could even be up here, is something that tells you that price has retraced and it's now forming a rounded bottom to turn into a higher low, especially on the 4-hour. I'm mostly trading based on the 4-hour market structures, right? Now, if this can happen on the 4-hour 20 EMA, that would be nice, right? If it can happen on the 4-hour 50 EMA confluent with the 20 and 50 in the breakout area, that is going to be perfect. So that's the idea I'm looking at in terms of entering a trade on Bitcoin and adding exposure to Bitcoin. I'm about at 50% of my desired Bitcoin and altcoin exposure for this potential, possibly new, the last leg of the bull market, as everyone talks about it, that will happen in Q4. I don't like why, I have no idea, but I don't really care why. It's just if I see the signs of that happening, of course, I'm going to jump on a train, and I'm about 50% filled for that. If we do get a higher low in the 4-hour, and a continuation move to the upside, I'm going to be 100% filled for my long-term holdings, which I will sell at the end of this, so-called last leg of the bull market, right? So that's one scenario. One scenario with focus on the 45K area. We also have the 48K area, which I'm going to show you right now. So this is my second option, right? Obviously, I don't want to buy right here. I don't want to add that 50% right here because we're in a very strong resistance area right inside it, right? So what I want to do is I want to either wait for this level to break to the upside and then go long on a retrace of that move, exactly as if I would go long on a retrace down here, right? Same principle, but I need to see a retrace and a higher low. Best case scenario is we drop down here, but there's always the possibility of just a move that's just going to shoot above this level and leave everyone who's waiting for this level behind. So you need to be quick in actually seeing if there's a move up, a breakout above 48K, and then a move down to reclaim. Maybe like we got something here, right? What if we get something like that? Maybe if we go to the EMAs on the 1 hour and we see this setup forming on the 1 hour with the 20 and 50 EMA in the 1 hour, but up here. So let's look at where the EMAs are right now on the 1 hour. Yeah, and as you can see here on the 1 hour, we're forming a very nice trend here with the 20 above the 50 and the 50 above the 100, and they are evenly, nicely fanned out right here. So what if we get a move that kind of looks like this, right? So we consolidate here for a bit, move higher, and then we get something like that on the 1 hour, and we have maybe the 20 EMA in the 1 hour, the 50 and the 100. That would be an opportunity to go long as well if it's looking decent on the 4 hour as well, right? So if we get a rounded retest on the 1 hour with a maybe 1 or 2 4-hour candles opening and closing above 48K, I would view that as a pretty good opportunity to go long as well. And in that case, I will add 25% more. And then if I see in maybe 1 day later, I see that this level is still holding as support and we're getting a low time frame bullish market structure and it looks like it wants to break out further, I'm going to add 25% extra. The reason for not adding 25% here based on a 1 hour setup is the fact that this setup on the 1 hour is a low probability that it will turn out to be a good trade on the daily, right? So on the daily, this right here might just turn out to be a fake out on the daily. And that gives me an opportunity to use that last 25% to buy that dip down here, right? So it's all about trying to find what level has the highest probability, and the level that does have the highest probability, you enter with more percentage. So if we get a retest on Monday or Tuesday down here, I'll enter with 50%. Otherwise, it's going to be like 25 and 25, and my average buying buy for Bitcoin would be, well, I bought the 50% that I own right now down here. So if I enter with 50% here, my average entry would be 43, which is very nice because it's below the breakout area. If I enter 25 here and 25 here, my average exit entry would be around 45K, which I'm definitely happy with if we go to 100K, right? So that's basically my plans for Bitcoin. If you guys have any questions regarding anything that I've showed you tonight with regards to Bitcoin or this plan, let me explain that. I did not understand the daily fake out and then go to 46K. All right, so we'll look at the daily, right? Right. So let me try to explain this, right? On the 1 hour, right? On the 1 hour, we might get a trend that I can move that looks like this, right? So that might be on the 1 hour, right? And that might be a good trade on the 1 hour, and it might go something like this. Price comes up here, bounces off the, let's say, the 50 EMA in the 1 hour, and you see move like that. So you enter here, and you're feeling all good about this, and it looks fantastic and all that. Then all of a sudden, boom, you come down here, and you break this level, right? And if this happens on the 1 hour, you might go to the daily and you'll see that that the setup that looked very good on the 1 hour is just a fake out on the daily. So let's say this daily candle closes here, and we get the daily open here, and price trades up here, and you get that nice 1 hour setup forming, and then the daily candle comes down and closes here. So it's a picture perfect daily fake out, right? That's why, the higher time frames you trade, the it's going to take more time, but it's going to give you better confirmation. So a good trade on the 1 hour might just be a daily fake out, right? That's why I try to always at least use the 4 hour. The best case scenario is the daily, and that is also why I do think that the 45K region is such a good level, because if you look at the daily, in 5 hours, you will have a daily open and close above, and you're going to leave a lot of room to the breakout level. You're going to leave a lot of room to retest this level, and that might actually give you a daily rounded retest, and that's just absolutely beautiful if you can get that right. So you might get something like this, a fake out, trapping a lot of longs up here, and maybe a retest like that. A lot of people go long here, and everyone's just super bullish because they think we're using that 48K level as support, and that's when you just drop down, and it's just going to look like a daily or weekly fake out, and that's when you get that beautiful daily rounded retest, and that is when I want to enter with last of my potential bag, right? So it's a balance between finding strength on the lower and high time frames, where absolutely when you see a good setup on the daily on in this area, it's definitely going to be the highest probability time frame, in my opinion, to be trading. But you're running the risk of missing out on all the big moves if you're waiting for a good trade setup on the daily. So yeah, two levels, 48K and 45K. Right, so let's look at the altcoin market. Most likely altcoins are rallying. I'm not trading much on the weekends, but I'm trying to be a little bit more active today, because of the fact that we have this move on Bitcoin, and altcoins will most likely move with it. AVAX, we got that move from AVAX, looking absolutely beautiful right here. So I really wanted to enter AVAX in this area right here, because I know there's some really nice fundamental events coming up for AVAX. I really do think that this coin will perform extremely well in a bull market, and I have exposure to AVAX in my long-term portfolio, and the portfolio that I'm talking about when I'm adding 25% to 50 and all that kind of stuff, when I'm talking Bitcoin. But as a trade, right? As a trade, there's no trade for me here, which is a shame, because it would be a fantastic entry right here. Maybe on the daily it would look better. Well, you see, yeah, sure, nice read this up the 20 EMA right here. But really, what I'm watching is a reclaim of this level right here. That's basically what I'm watching on AVAX. There's another thing I really wanted to talk about as well. It's the fact that we have been seeing a decline in the traditional markets, the legacy markets, the equity markets, and there's a risk that we are entering a risk off environment, and I make no mistakes about it. I don't think Bitcoin will perform well if the legacy markets enter a risk of environment, right? So we need to see how the traditional markets behave on the Monday open. How is the what's gold and silver going to do? What's the S&P 500 looking like? Are we going to reclaim any interesting support? Are we going to enter green? Is investors going to gain back the confidence that they obviously lost last week when a lot of people panic sold? I mean, if you're looking at the S&P, it's we actually did lose a, I mean, look at this. This is on the daily. So we need to be very mindful of the fact that the S&P 500 is potentially showing a major reversal here. And that would mean we're entering, potential risk off environment for the legacy markets, and Bitcoin will not perform very well in that situation. So looking at the dollar currency index, we are at resistance right here, and you can see that when this got rejected at resistance here, Bitcoin pumped, right? Looking at the weekly for the dollar currency index right here, we're hitting a major resistance right here. If this breaks out, if we break above this level, that would not be good for the ideas that we looked at today. That would not be a good thing. So what that, and also we could see a retrace, down to this level and then a pump, and that would probably look something like this on Bitcoin, right? Pump and then a major dump. That is when we might get that buying opportunity, but lose this level, and I don't think it's going to be looking very good for Bitcoin in the next couple of weeks, right? So you might watch this and think that I'm bullish, right? But I'm not. I'm not bullish. I'm not bearish. I'm just watching price right here. And as soon as we actually do get below 45K and start entering that range and maybe losing range EQ, I'm just going to follow price and I'm not going to add my exposure. I'm going to start looking at an exit plan, right? So all you have to do is you need to look at the chart, you need to look at price action, you need to ask yourself, what type of confirmation do I need to see in price for me to go long, or what type of invalidation do I need to see in the chart for me to decrease exposure or not go long? It's very important to do that. And whatever you think about Bitcoin, how much you love Bitcoin and the technology, it doesn't really matter here, because we're traders and we're just going to follow price action whatever happens, right? It's very important to have a unbiased approach to this game, or you're not going to survive very long. So it's the weekend, right? Usually a weekend pump does not have follow through come Monday, especially not if the legacy markets are opening in the red. Super important that we watch this relationship on Monday, right? Altcoins, like I said, is looking fantastic, right? EGLD right here. OMG is looking incredibly crazy. FTT, another one I'm watching as a long-term hold. This is also a big part of my portfolio. Looking at the daily, this is just absolutely fantastic right here. If Bitcoin has really bottomed right here, FTT is going to explode, right? Explode. I mean, just to these last local highs, that's a 50% increase, guys. Come on. This short right here, FTT, is going to explode, I'm sure, if this really is the last leg of the bull market. So Atom right now as well is showing a very nice bullish market structure. This looks like the kind of coin that I would like to go long on a retrace on, potentially on Monday. If the legacy markets open red and then starts trading higher, we might get that dip. And if we do, let's say we trade a little bit higher to this high, and we get a dip down to this area right here, where we also have the 50% and the 618 and the moving average right here, that would be absolutely perfect. And that is that's actually the setup that I'm looking at, right? I'm looking for all coins to just retrace, right? Just retrace back down to a significant level, and significant levels, in my opinion, is the 50% fib, the 618 fib, and especially if they align with the 4-hour 20 and or 50 EMA, like Adam is doing right here. So the trade would be this, right? Stops below the long RLC, take profit at the minus 618. Well, that is the short tool, so that's not going to give me a lot of profits using that one. That would be the entry somewhere here, stops, and profit target up here. Average R of this trade would be 4. So that's pretty good, right? And in case all altcoins are going to run, you want to leave 25% of the position open in case you do get some nice moves. If you're members of the Birb Nest, I will link this green list in my individual Libs42 channels. You can check that out and copy it. These are some of the strongest coins that I'm watching right now in the altcoin market, and they are looking really, really fine. I do think that if we get continuation here of the, on the moves from Bitcoin, and look at Link, absolutely beautiful. Look at that break and retest and reclaim of the 2015, the daily 2015 May, and also the break and retest of this range right here. That's beautiful. So Link looking absolutely fantastic here, very, very strong. But guys, you got to be careful. Like I said, strong moves over the weekends usually do not have much of follow through in the beginning of the week when the legacy markets open, especially now if they open red. So be very careful with that, right? You can't just ape in on the weekends, and then when you're at work on Monday, you're just going to see the market crashing, and you're going to panic sell because you open up a too big of a position. So it's better to be patient in a situation like this, right? I would gradually increase my position size in the crypto market with strength, right? All right, guys. So I think that's it. For tonight's webinar. If you have any questions, just let me know, and I will try to help you out as best as I can. So let's just take 2 minutes to see if we have any questions in the chat. Just let me know if you need me to cover anything. Luna. So Luna. All right, daily it looks really nice. Looks like it wants to break into new highs. We got the 4-hour, very nice bounce here on the 20 May. So yeah, entry area for Luna would be somewhere in. I'd like to see this area being used as support, right? So you can kind of see how that's in horizontal level. I would like to see price continuing a little bit higher, maybe touch the all-time highs right here, and then come down and test the region around the region between 39 and 40. A bounce in that region would be an interesting long opportunity, especially if you get like a 4-hour bullish engulfing in that area. Right. So can you make an ending conclusion for the short-term price prediction on the Bitcoin? It's not that easy, all right? I can't just say short. It's not that easy. I've given you 2 very detailed scenarios for Bitcoin, and I can't just give you a price prediction of where I think Bitcoin is going. It's not about that. It's I can't predict. Like, I can't predict what will happen. I can give you certain scenarios that I think is likely or unlikely, right? I'm giving you two scenarios in this stream, and I think they are as detailed as I can get, really. Do you have any opinions on smaller altcoins like BRA and which? No. I'm just following. I'm just following price. I don't have any idea of the fundamentals of most projects, and I'm trying to stay away from smaller caps. Birb said in the Nest Club that we shouldn't worry too much about the S&P. That they'll just, I guess you're referring to the S&P 500 and legacy markets. They'll just print more money if needed. Well, yeah. It's just, sure, they're gonna print more money, but what if it crash? Like, what if, like? So basically, everyone, including Birb, everyone who's a trader, every technical analyst out there, including Birb, we have different scenarios in mind. We have different ideas of what would invalidate our ideas to go long. Like, what would invalidate the bullish scenario? Well, if the legacy markets crash and Bitcoin lose 45K, well, that would obviously invalidate the bull market starting in at least tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, if everything is crashes on Monday, it's not like, well, at least Bitcoin is gonna make us rich. It's not like that. All right. The difference between me and Birb is I'm a price action short-term trader. I'm looking at one level below price and one level above price. That's it. Birb is looking at every level, macroeconomics, fundamentals, politics. I don't do that. I don't care about that. All I care about is what's the support below and the resistance above. That's basically it. Reclaim resistance. I want to go long short term. So that's basically it. So to sum it up, we have the same view on Bitcoin long term. We're just approaching it differently. And you should worry about everything, you know. That might sound weird, but you should worry about any potential bearish developments, you know. Can you say a word about Litecoin? Yeah, sure. LTC, perp. Let's see. Litecoin. I don't like Litecoin. I hate this coin. I don't know why. Just I don't like it. Anyway, yeah, this looks good. So for Litecoin, I'd like to see a reclaim of this level. Looking at the daily, yeah, for Litecoin, I'd like to see a break and retest of the $175 area, $175 area, break and retest of that area, which basically could look like this, right? So it could look like this. Breakout, rounded retest, something like that. That would be absolutely fantastic for Litecoin. Maybe not that high, but something like that. Maybe a pump up to the 188 level, 185 level, and then a retrace back down to the 175 area is what I'm looking at to go heavily long on Litecoin, maybe. FTX, all right. FTX is where I'm trading crypto, and the hardware wallet I'm using is Ledger. All right, guys, that's it. I'm really gonna go. All right, last two. I'm gonna check Ocean and XRP. Do we have USDT? We could retest this level below. That would be a good long opportunity if we retest that level 0.7. 0.7. A break and retest of the area around 0.75 would be a good long opportunity as well. So something like this, right? Go long here or go long there. That's pretty much it. XRP. I think I would view this whole area as resistance. So a break and retest of this area right here, which is the area around 1.07 right here. That might be interesting for a long opportunity. Right, so this is the settings I have for the Fibonacci retracement tool right here. You can just pause the video or yeah, just watch that. All right, guys, that's it. Sorry if I can't answer all your questions, but I really gotta go. So I will see you guys if you're in the Birdnest, I will have webinars on Monday and Tuesday. So I'll see you guys in there. Take care, guys. See you guys in the next one.